off. Like I met the lady from D&D Auto World, Denise, and she and I said the same thing. In order for somebody to buy from you, they need to consume about 5 to 10 pieces of content.
I consider buying a Yara Cross.
Same.
I consider buying a Yara Cross because of her.
She make a video about her vessel. I said,
And then my bank say, nah, you can't do that.
Correct.
Yeah, only the bank say no. I say yes.
Correct.
She say yes, but my bank say no. That's the only reason I buy it.
If we pop on back car, we could rent it.
I'm not doing that with you, nah.
Fair enough.
Good morning. Morning, people.
Good morning.
It's a wonderful Monday morning.
You don't know that for sure.
Huh?
You're trying to be positive.
Yeah, trying to be
I see
positive.
we're going
Always
there.
have to be positive.
And you're
I
right.
think.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. People probably driving to work.
Correct.
You want that positivity. And I, for one, have to apologize for being negative for a second.
Yeah,
apologize.
that's the balance here. Positive, negative, right?
I disagree.
Yeah,
but then again, that proves your point.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we always bring amazing guests onto our podcast, and the conversation is always enlightening. It's one of those things where, listen, we normally have a window of 20 minutes, but when it gets juicy, boy, it is go long. And so we're here with Mr. Jarrod Best Mitchell.
All things yellow.
All things yellow.
Content. All things sales. He is on every forum, every panel, everything.
All Jarrod needs now is a billboard. Right? You see, right after Victrina, and here it is. You put Jarrod there?
I agree.
Oh my
I
goodness.
agree.
After Victrina on the highway, put Jarrod.
List all his accolades.
All his
and stop
accolades.
picking up random.
Exactly.
Real
things. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast Monday morning.
Welcome,
Thank you.
That's
Can
Jarrod.
I just say, and for the record, if there's somebody out there who has that record of what they're claiming for whichever coffee, I would pay for your billboard. I promise you, I would pay for that billboard.
Facts.
And we're going to make it twice as big.
Yes.
And just say, I did it first.
Facts. Facts.
Please reach out to me. I would pay for that billboard.
Love
What
it.
do you think is the extent of coffee's influence and power right now? Because I start getting a little nervous. We on this topic for real long. But I mean, what do you think? Why you hate coffee, Jarrod?
I don't hate coffee. And mind you, I have a video on record that I did over a decade ago. I don't know if I could say it. You could use language.
Yes, you
right?
can.
I remember I did a video years ago on YouTube. It's not listed publicly, where I said, "Dear Windsor and Coffee, you're going to hell." And it's not that you did anything wrong or anything like that, but your music sucks.
Yeah.
And Jesus don't want to hear that shit. And I just said, because the music is awful. I haven't heard anything since. I'm sure it's on par with the level of the Johnny Q hardware ad.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to hear it.
I did not think this conversation was going to start like that.
We train. So.
I said
It's
LinkedIn
just my
and
thought.
sales trainer, so I was hoping we go that direction. As I said before, right? Positive.
Negative on
No,
the
can
side.
I? So hold on. Let's segue back into it. So so here's the fun thing, right? A superpower that has worked for me, because this is how Keevan and I know each other, is comedy. And I used to do stand-up comedy. So when people hear me talk and speak about things, they'll be like, "How you could just talk so quick?" And I'm like, "I know how to do it. Like I could listen to you for 5 minutes, talk about your product, and I could just talk about it like I know it. Like I could just talk off the cuff. Like for anybody who wants to just be better at talking, do comedy, because they could walk in front of a group of strangers and they could just talk. It's really easy.
Absolutely. But I feel like you just drop a bomb there. I don't think much people know that you did the open mics, you did stand up.
Open for Rachel Price, all these things. So I've always wanted to do comedy, and I think it was like 2000. This is when I was NLCB, so like 2004 or something. She had an open mic competition, which was 51 Degrees, and I entered, and along with another girl named Lizette won. But I was the main one who just stood on, and I just started doing comedy. And it's just something I started doing for years, and then I stopped because my comedy is different. Like the example I just gave with Wincy, that's a good example.
That is a good example, guys. So
because by the way, to keep my mind is like a switch, because you have to think a different way. Like when I think in a different way, ask if I send them a WhatsApp with somebody messages.
Yeah.
Like of just what I'm thinking. So like it is, and again, because I think society is too sensitive, I don't do it, but I do it because it keeps me incredibly creative.
Yeah.
And that's what helps me in terms of sales.
Like clearly very, very sharp. And I mean, I feel like I just say talking is a real superpower. I always remember when I was young, which is different from when you all were young, but coding was a real big deal. And it was like, oh yeah, everybody needs to learn how to code. And that's when like they were starting to talk about how soft skills don't really matter. And I was like, I don't think so. I think soft skills gonna real matter. I'm very happy to be right about that. Because everything I'm naturally good at is what's pay me now. And it seems like you have that superpower as well. You, of course, have that superpower when they're talking, the ability to communicate your ideas, the ability to just be charming and not just witty, but emotionally intelligent in a room to anticipate people's needs. I know off camera you was talking about some stories that we can get into. Yeah, man.
Nah, it's a easy thing. And I love the fact that I had all those years doing comedy because it really helped me to craft what I do in sales. And again, it was something that still opened up a lot of doors. So I am incredibly grateful for it. So anybody, and by the way, Ryan Serhan, this guy for $1 Million Listing, he has it for his, like it's in his team's contract that you have to spend, I think it's either 1 hour a month doing ad-libs. Like there's somebody who comes in to teach your team how to ad-lib and talk off the cuff because that's an important aspect in sales. So for anybody who just wants to be better at talking, if it's Toastmasters or any of those things, you honestly have to do it. It's like one of the best things you could do for yourself.
Yeah.
So like, I just, like people see it and they're shocked and I'm like, no, it's like, it's easy because it's like I could do it. It's breathing for me now.
Yeah. So do you, for your, you do a lot of panels now. We see you on almost every flyer with regards to sales on LinkedIn. What is your preparation? What's your process for preparing for like speeches and keynotes and stuff?
A framework. So again, it's just because how you learn it like comedy. So I think I start over thinking what's the end result of what I want people to leave with. And I usually go through a process of not only talking to the client, but I send a survey out to the people who I'm going to be talking to. If I can, because I want their feedback and I take their insights.
Right.
And with their insights, I know exactly how to position what it is I want to talk about.
So crowd work, basically.
And
crowd work. You
do your crowd work, And then I have a unique way of presenting, which I think wins for me that nobody could beat yet. And I know it for a fact because like people have presentations and they're boring because it's wordy. And I have this style where I present only using GIFs.
Ooh.
So like, and they're all yellow GIFs too.
Of course.
Yeah.
So like, I was doing a keynote again today, and I could see it on one or two people whose camera was on. I could see them laugh, like when they see me just coming up about what I'm talking about, and then like you literally see some people face like, there's a lot of yellow. Like there's a lot of, and like, I have words that like some or two part, like things you can screenshot that you need for yourself, but the overall general message and the style, it's just like that because for me, it works a lot easier in terms of how my communication style is, and I think it keeps people attention for longer.
Well, you know what I like about that is it's similar to your personality. Because remember, I have seen a lot of you in terms of how you have grown in your brand. Yeah. And one thing everybody knows Jarrod for is that yellow, right? And being able to stand out with your presentation allows people to emotionally remember you, right? So building your brand, putting that yellow intentionally. How do you talk to somebody who wants to build their brand in that sales space?
The only way to build your brand now, and somebody was messaging me about it, like I keep telling people, don't focus on building your personal brand. You're seeing it, content is a differentiator. Take 90 days and create content. Every day for 90 days. You'll figure out what your brand is, you'll figure out what your voice is, your style is, what you want to focus on. I don't care what the message is. If you can pick up your camera and record something, doesn't matter if it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, do it for 90 days, you'll figure it out. Because the thing is, people always ask like me to talk about brand, but I fell into everything by accident.
Absolutely.
Like, I've liked yellow since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Right? It's only when I saw a lady called Ella London. Like she wears it, like this is 2018, and she wears yellow 24/7, like her house is yellow, only the walls are gray. Yeah. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm not taking my love for yellow serious, because I only used to wear it after work.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, it's like, no, we're going 24/7, 365. Even with things like my name, because my name is so unique, like even that I used to pay attention to on a couple of things. So when people ask me about my brand, I'm like, no, it's just honestly by how things fell, but I've stayed consistent with it because it's things that I like. Yeah. Like, I laughed the other day when one of my clients saw me in the mall, and then when they had the training session, they followed me. She was like, I thought that I catch you and I ain't seeing it in no yellow. And I'm like, no, you really don't understand. You really don't understand. Like, it's all the time. So,
and it's sustainable because it's something you love. Something
anyway. And that's the thing when I tell people is the consistency. If you could do content for 90 days, you would figure out everything about yourself of how you need it to be done. And I laugh at people because I see a lot of sales jobs, so I tell this too. And a sales job told me the other day, I did the content and it didn't work. I'm like, bro, 2 weeks passed. Yeah. You didn't even do it every day for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You haven't done it. Like, I know what I'm telling you, like, as crazy as it sounds, I know what I'm telling you. Like, and again, all my content comes from this. I have no camera equipment, none of this, like, I have lapel mics and that is it. There's a 512 gig phone, I have 15,000 videos on this. I just need to stick with it every single day.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me of a book by Malcolm Gladwell that called The Tipping Point. And he speaks about your 10,000 hours, right? So when you see somebody successful, it's not because it was an overnight success.
Yeah.
And most times it's an overnight success, they're not going to sustain anything anyway.
Yeah.
So the tipping point really is that 90 days, being able to sustain and be disciplined. I think a lot of people don't have the discipline to maintain 90 days of content or anything.
Malcolm pointed out something to us, like one of the best stories because there's 2 books he mentioned, is Outliers and Tipping Point.
Yeah.
So Tipping Point, one of the stories he mentioned was the story of how Clark started to become popular at a point in time. And then when people just figured out how all of a sudden it's popular, it's like, no, you didn't realize there was a whole underground movement. I can't remember the name of the area in New York that everybody liked to talk about, that was building up the movement because there's so many fashion shows and everything was happening, and that is what created it. And then, like, when you look at Outliers, it goes back into the 90 days of, you need to create your 10,000 hours of activity in order for it to just become natural for you. And if you do that,
Yeah.
So the thing is, I feel like we know this now. The age we're past the age of information. We have any information we want, we can have right now. We know that this is what works. We know that big YouTubers say you need 100 videos before the algorithm to even start to like do anything with you, and you need 1,000 videos for you to even start popping off. So we know this, but what would you ascribe for people not doing it?
I don't care anymore.
I know you was gonna say that. He's so mean.
But the thing is, here's the thing, right? I have fed up preaches to people. Like, I'll give an example the other day, which like got me irritated. Again, I was doing training for a team. I was coaching one of the guys in car sales, right? Lazy person. And it was irritating me. I said, let's do a video on this car. Told him exactly what to say. Did the video. There's not a cheap car, by the way. In 5 minutes, somebody sent him and said, call me and give me a quote. The person came and paid next week. The commissioner is like, either 13 or 20,000. This bugger still didn't create another video after that. I can't help you. I could just show you once. So like, I have a rule, like I tell people, like a lot of people always message me and I'm willing to give free advice. And I told somebody this the other day, I was like, know that you're on the 3rd piece and you have not done the other 2. This is the last piece of advice I'm giving you. I can't help everybody, and I don't want to. I would help anybody who takes the initiative. If you come back and tell me, Jarrod, I look at these 90 videos, we can have a discussion. If not, I don't care and I don't want to help you. If you don't realize now that content is the way to go, like I've literally shown people, like there's a bet I do with people in training, that when we start doing videos and they're sending it out, I always tell people, if you get a negative comment, I have $100 for you. If you get a positive comment and a lead, you have $100 from me. Had a man owe me $800 in St. Lucia, from one video, and the person didn't make any videos after that. I can't help you. Like, I'm not getting demotivated, but I'm only working people who want to make the effort. If you want to put in the work, sales is easy when you're putting the work. Everything is easy when you're putting the work. If you don't want to put in the work, I'm not a donkey. You're not riding me to get to your success.
So I did my videos, and to this day, I've counted 3,800 videos I've done in my lifetime. Right? That's 10 years of content every single day. Right? Some people not seeing the why. Some people not seeing what you're doing it for. All they're seeing is that this effort right now, this step I have to make is too much. So is it that, they just don't want to do it, they're not motivated by it? It's because that they don't have a why factor. They don't know why they do it.
We want to thank Signature Media for housing us here and all is seeing it. The studio is crispy, it's nice. We're very excited for this new season to be in a new studio.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you very
and if
much.
you want to book this, check them out below. I want to ask, what are you bad at? Because right now you exist in a world where everything you're good at really works.
Oh, I'm bad at organization.
All right.
So here's the thing. I have a fundamental rule of I outsource everything that I do not like doing. So like I have to get back a VA because I suck at managing my calendar. I hate answering emails. Like I just don't. Like I honestly just want to spend time talking to people about sales, training people. I don't want to do any other work behind it. I don't even want to send an invoice. Like when I had a virtual assistant, down to like I had to just send a voice note of what I needed responded to. Like I literally gave them the instructions of if there's an email I need answering, you need to tell me what the email is, and I'll just voice it over on what to respond.
Yeah.
So and people think that's crazy, but when you outsource your weaknesses, it frees up your time to do exactly what you need to do.
Correct.
And I did a video about this. So like when it was carnival time, my daughter was one of the performers for Mikal and they were practicing. So we had about 3 or 4 practice sessions. Mikal only came to the last one, right? Now, meanwhile, he didn't need to come to any of them really. He just came to the last one because that was the final one. So they could tell him where you have to stand. He did it. And by the way, you know what I love? He wasn't talking because he's preserving his voice. He had his throat wrapped up with some scarf. He was just eating food and he literally didn't talk. Like if he was talking, he'd be like, and he would like sound out the words muted. But all I realized was like, right, you outsource your weaknesses. You can't be the star and you had to manage and find people where they are and feed them. No.
Yeah.
Your job is to perform.
Yeah.
And you make the most amount of money from that. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. Like the more you could pay people to do the small tasks, you could charge more money for the actual time. Because like,
Absolutely.
I'm proud to say, the talk I did today was 20 minutes and I charged $5,000. And I would charge people more money because I know what my worth is. And I'll just pay, and I'll pay for that to out, and I'll pay for that to out, and I'll outsource that to the other stuff.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. Like, I'm not going to spend time doing the things I do not like doing. I hate it now.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody could look at it this way. You'll pay somebody to wash your car because you'd rather do something else. Right? And I was talking to a client about this. The more, and especially in sales, the more you talk about time, the less you have to debate with the person about price.
Okay.
Because when you start talking about the time they would save, like you don't want to wash your car, cut your grass. You can, but you'd rather spend time with family. You don't want to get burned up in the sun. You don't want to spend time learning how to use a whacker properly. And at the end of the day, you'll probably do a C-level job when somebody could do it in a 10th of the time or do it as an A+. What would you rather do?
Yeah.
Right? No. Would you rather sew your suits for the event you're supposed to Kivo?
No.
No. You'll go by the tailor who just get it done. It's all about getting the result that you need, and I'll pay people any day of the week to do things that I do not want to do.
And how I look at it as well is everybody's a king of their own kingdom, and you understanding where you are king at, what what you need your time to do, what you're really good at, and everybody understanding that. Honestly, every time I work in a system where everybody understands, okay, Kivo, he's the mic man. He's good at that. Okay, Kivo's aunt, she have a sweet aunt, she can make the food. Every time I see systems like that, the output has been magical. It's be a good place to work. The vibe is be good, and the production of it, whatever they produce, is be ban on. And this is why I know everybody needs to figure out what they're supposed to be doing and really double down on it. And it's why I left my full-time job even before I probably should have, because I realized a side hustle is kind of dangerous.
So I'll reference 2 things here. There's a book called, I think it's Get on the Bus by Ron Clark, I think it is. And he always talks, that book just talks about getting the right people on the bus with regards to their mission. Right? The other one now, which is important, is a book called by Matt Higgins called Burn the Boats, but it's based on I won't say Roman, but it was based on the idea of like these people went to invade a country. When they landed, the general burned the boats.
Right.
Because he said we're not going back.
Yeah.
This is where we are now. So the whole concept is if you're going into something, you go 100%. So that you do, because you will never, you will work hard at it, and you will never go back to what you were before. So that to me, I think is 2 important things. And I think, and by the way, if anybody's looking at this, because given who your audience is, it's not that expensive to outsource your weaknesses.
Facts.
And honestly, sometimes too, what you could do is barter certain things for people.
Yep.
So like it works that way, but like trust me, when you calculate how much your time is worth, you realize that I can make $1,000. I'll pay you $250 to do this for me. But if I didn't, I'd have been charging $500 for my services. I made $250 in profit.
Jarrod, thank you very much for being here, bro. I appreciate your insight. And definitely looking forward to working with you.
Yeah. And if you want to find me, I'm always on LinkedIn, or you can check my website, jarrodbestmitchell.com, where you'll see all things yellow.
Yeah. Yellow's the code.